everybody, it is Joy, and I am coming to you from a new company that I formed, and it's called Wave Institute. And Wave stands for Women's AI Visibility Institute. And I started this company because of the work that I've done in the AI visibility realm. This started a long time ago, probably 18 months ago. I started studying AI visibility with a couple of other AI enthusiasts, and we developed a 10-point visibility scan to measure how businesses show up. From that early rendition, I've expanded it to 19 different points to check and see how a person shows up for AI or on AI platforms. What's interesting is this has led me down a path of bias in the data because what I noticed, what I saw were men being named as opposed to women. First thing is AI wants to put out or recommend people, not firms. And that's what kind of led me to bias in the data. Fast forward, I just completed a study, a research project of 209 women attorneys in Colorado to see how they showed up for AI visibility. And what I found was amazing, um, a little terrifying, but information that really has opened my eyes in terms of how are women specifically going to be found. Now, um, I looked at two different platforms. I looked at ChatGPT and Gemini. ChatGPT obviously is larger than Gemini for right now, but those are the two main ones that people use. And I looked at the attorney on both platforms, the individual woman attorney on both platforms. So um, it's a dual test because I wanted to see how they showed up on Gemini and how they showed up on ChatGPT and if it was similar. That is one of the surprising things. Second is um, we found that 69.4% of women don't show up on ChatGPT in terms of visibility. And I thought that was shocking. But if we go back and look at the data of what ChatGPT uses, you can see why it's so biased. That's one of the things that drove me to create the Women's AI Visibility Institute because women need to pay attention to this now in 2026 more than ever because the every platform is different. Every platform uses different data to provide their answers, and ChatGPT uses data from 2006, 2007, somewhere. So you know that the data that they're pulling historically is biased, and that shows up in recommendations. So I wanted to share kind of the origin story of how Wave came about and what we're about. So for 2026, we're looking at women attorneys specifically. We just released the Colorado report. There's an executive brief that I provide that's free that kind of highlights the results of the study. Now we're studying Texas. And in 2026, we'll be going to Texas, Florida, California, New York to measure and analyze the bias in the data for women attorneys. So, just a couple of points I want to leave you with. I mentioned the 69.4% of women don't show up. Secondly, I found that 95% of the attorneys lack proper schema markup. Now, there's a difference between firm schema markup and personal schema markup. And I want you to remember from this video is AI recommends people and not firms. So if you think about how your firm markets, they market the firm. They don't market individual attorneys. And that's one of the things that has to change in 2026 is women attorneys need to really grab hold of their personal branding. And we're going to get into that a lot more um, as time goes on, but that's an introduction to it. And I would say the last shocking finding is 14.2% of websites can't even be crawled by AI. So you might be doing all these things, but AI can't even crawl your site. So if you think about it in terms of, I use this analogy to kind of explain everything. Crawling your site is like your open sign for your business. So AI can crawl your site and see what you do. Schema markup is like your floor plan of your business. So schema markup tells you where your firm is located, how many floors there are, what practice areas you're in. It describes the floor plan of your business. That's what schema markup does. Personal branding is your office. So AI can crawl your site, it can see a floor plan of what you offer, and then it can go to your specific office for what you do. And you have to have all three components to be found by AI. It has to be structured and organized. And I don't want to overwhelm anybody on the first video, but that's kind of the layout or the visual, if you can think about that. We're going to talk about this study a lot more. We're going to get into specifics, but that's just the general overview of analyzing 209 women attorneys. 69% aren't found by AI. 94% don't have schema markup, and 14% can't even crawl your site. So AI visibility for women is extremely important. And that's why I formed the Women's AI Visibility Institute, because we're going to take a hard-nosed analytical approach to how women can be visible in AI search. All right. I hope you'll join us on the journey. Thanks so much for your time, and I will see you next time.